That looks good. And this is Lewis. I'm here in Port Ludlow in Washington, and it is very smoky. We're having some serious fires here in Washington. I almost said California, but California it's raining ash. But here it's just kind of smoky out there. But not so bad. But I know I don't have the best camera, but you can smell it in the air, and it's crazy. The world is burning. I've been saying this for years, The world burns, but it burns slow. This way we don't really notice it until events like this. I mean, the scale of these continental fires, there's all sorts of evidence of continental fires in North America. It's kind of par for the course. But, these people it's crazy. It's so odd, like, with this coronavirus, people are still going out and getting their lattes, and, everyone's wearing a mask, and, you could go sit down at a restaurant, but you have to wear a mask. If you walk through the door, you have to wear a mask to the table. But once you're at the table, you can take the mask off. And, just none of this stuff makes any sense. And, if, it's just so crazy, It's just obviously people aren't thinking for themselves. If there's, it seems like people only are upset when they're told to be upset by their media and their leaders and whatnot. And they're scared when they're told to be scared. But it's just business as usual. As fire rages across the country, my country, it's bananas. But yeah, it's interesting, It's a lot, just so much going on. Everyone blames everyone. Yeah, of course, the narrative now is, oh, this is all climate change, and I'm hearing people say, like, oh, it's Trump's environmental policies are bringing about the end of the world, and we're not going to have, people are going to start drowning, and it's meanwhile people are tearing their cities and burning down these systems themselves. So we're all worried about the end, this apocalypse, and the very fear of this event is creating this event. and it's just like, how do you even talk to these people? It's like, I've been convinced for years that the majority of humanity is, not just brainwashed, but like hypnotized, and they're kind of walking through life mostly in a trance. And that this year, 2020, has proved that, to me at least, that it's worse than I thought. Like, people are completely programmed. From the very beginning of this, it's just obvious that these are master manipulators, and that they're using hypnosis at a grand scale to program behavior. They basically told everyone to go to their room, for the forced quarantine and stuff like that. And go to your room. It's like parents, parents yell at you, go to your room, you're in trouble, blah, blah, blah. And, everyone just went to their rooms for 3 months. Then they were told to be mad, so they got mad. They're like, fuck it, let's go we gotta protest. It's time to protest. We're mad. We're mad. And we're mad for good reason. They're angry for good reason. And this, all the protests and the riots and stuff, they're mad for a good reason. And that reason is they're told to be mad. If you tell people to be mad, let's not be surprised that they get mad. And it is bananas. I talked to my mom last night for like 2 hours over the phone, and she unloaded, and she's one of these people that think, Trump's responsible for all these coronavirus deaths, and, he's the Antichrist pretty much. And, I had called her to talk about my half-sister Tam, who was upset because of some of the vicious Facebook comments and stuff that my other sisters and my mom have been posting, because Tam supports Trump, and they're saying, you're a traitor, you're not a real environmentalist, how you consider yourself a feminist, how can you be a feminist, environmentalist, and all this thing? How can a gay woman, gay environmentalist, granola eating, hippie fucking vote for Trump? And instead of saying that as an actual question and investigating, it was rhetorical, and it's a point to be dismissive. And my Tam is a very special person, and she's a real activist. She has a sanctuary farm for rescue animals. She's never had a corporate job. She lives relatively off the grid. This is not a person who's part of the problem. She is actively living her life with principles and making real change in the world. My mom, and this armchair activism where she's sharing posts and commenting, liking and unliking, flagging and unflagging, whatever. And she's like, she's not a real activist. She's betrayed. How could she be an environmentalist if she supports Trump? Blah blah blah. And it's like totally dismissive of what the actual physical, tangible reality is. This person's actually making moves, and my mom and millions of other people worldwide, especially it seems like here in the state, they're on their keyboards, fueling the flames of civil unrest. And we're all. It's so crazy. We should be building our communities, not tearing them down. We should be building our families, not creating divisions. Especially in these times, while the world literally burns around us, we probably shouldn't be looking to getting political, ideological, groupthink, identity politics bullshit between family members. It is absolutely insane. And it's just not objective by any sort of measure. A family is... You're not beholden to your family, and this is kind of a point that has come up in discussions before, is that, we feel beholden to our family, but if they're not serving us, we really shouldn't allow them to pull us down. And shouldn't let where we come from necessarily define us as our future and limit our potential. But that being said, family is a powerful resource if you can cultivate it. And these are people who are genetically predisposed to wanting you to succeed, because we're all pretty much extensions of each other, but family more so. I literally see my dad's face in the mirror, and I'm half him. I know I'm half him, half my mom. it makes sense, and that we have a vested interest in each other's success, and we're losing sight of that. From the very start of this pandemic, I could see that you know millions were going to die, millions, just from the panic alone. And and people are so programmed, and you know it's so sad. It's just, this whole thing is so sad. And, literally watching the world burn around me, and people are throwing fuel on the fire. But hopeful for the future. Maybe I'll make a hopeful for the future post here